We are just days away from Christmas. While we are not able to build a snowman, even if we had wanted to, here in tropical Singapore, we are still able to enjoy tropical Christmas gifts from our green spaces. Now, all year round, there are signs of Christmas cheer in verdant Singapore. The mouse deer, the tropical cousin to the reindeer, continue to forage in forests here. Conifers, a group of trees including the iconic Christmas pine tree, stand proud and tall in parks and along the streets. Conifers refer to a group of woody trees and shrubs that usually have needle-like or scale-like leaves and bear exposed seeds, usually on the scales of cones. Now, to share more on Singapore's Christmas flora and fauna, we have environment correspondent Audrey Tan right here. Hey Audrey.
Hey Arianto.
Welcome. Now Audrey, let's start with where can we find these trees for those looking to get into the festive spirit outdoors.
So a lot of people would recognize the iconic Christmas pine tree. So these belong to a group of plants known as conifers, which are, as you guys have seen earlier, trees with needle-like leaves with exposed seeds. So in Singapore, we do have one native conifer, it's a tropical conifer that is found naturally in Singapore, and it's called the sea teak. And you can find one heritage tree in Sembawang Park. So yeah, that is one of the tropical Christmas trees that people can look out for. And there are other trees that kind of look like conifers, but they are not. So one is a casuarina tree. That one really looks like a Christmas tree because of its tiny needle-like leaves. But they are not real leaves, they are actually twigs with leaves like in holes inside them. So even though they're not related, they still, I think, have kind of a Christmassy vibe, and you can find those on Coney Island because they grow well in sandy seashore kind of habitats.
And those, the casuarinas, they are not conifers, yeah?
They are not conifers, they just look like conifers.
And
they have, you can see in the story, but they have adapted this way because it suits the kind of tropical environment where you get like very hot environments with some wind. So other than that, NParks has also planted trees with kind of Christmas vibes. So like the Jelutong tree is a tropical forest tree that you can find in Singapore's forests. When it's young, it has a conical shape. So you can find them in all around Singapore. So these are just some of the trees with Christmas vibes that you can find here.
They can look out. And so talking about trees, now let's move on to the animals as well. There is the mouse deer. Now, have you seen one yourself out in the wild?
Though personally no, but a lot of native mammals, they are nocturnal and they're kind of hard to see. But the mouse deer is the tropical relative to the reindeer that people would commonly associate with Christmas. But it's kind of different in that. So mouse deer are not exactly, they are distantly related to true deer species like the reindeer. And one distinguishing feature is that true deer, they have antlers. Whereas our mouse deer, they don't have antlers. And the males fight each other with their teeth and their fangs instead. So they don't lock fangs, but they just like inflict wounds on each other. That's what the researchers told me. Yes. Yeah. So in Singapore, we have two species of mouse deer, the greater mouse deer and the lesser mouse deer. And they got their names because of their size. So the greater mouse deer is the size of like a large domestic cat, and the lesser mouse deer is the size of a small domestic cat. And you can find them in our forest here. And one interesting thing about the mouse deer is that the greater mouse deer was actually considered extinct in Singapore. Because the last time they were seen was in the 1920s. Until one of the mammal researchers found one of them in Pulau Ubin in 2008. And another one on the Western Catchment Forest on the mainland in 2012. So now we have both back in our forest here. So I've not seen them personally, but I think you can find them in the zoo and the night safari. So,
and just to understand better these two different mouse deer, so the greater mouse deer and the lesser mouse deer, do they live in the same kind of habitat as well?
I think they are both forest-dwelling species. So, like for example, the lesser mouse deer, you might, if you are lucky enough, get to see them in places like the Central Catchment Nature Reserve and also in the buffering park, so Thomson Nature Park. You might get to see them, but you have to be quiet and because they're wildlife.
Really, and they're very shy animals, right? Naturally very shy animals. So you've heard it from Audrey herself. These are some of animals and the flora as well that you can check out out in Singapore. Now you can read Audrey's story, and Audrey's story of course details in full the tropical Christmas gifts, as it were, that you can find here in Singapore. Once again, thank you so much Audrey for coming on to the show. Now to read more, of course, you can head on to straitstimes.com.